Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is 3 p.m. here in New Vienna, Iowa. That means it's time for another live stream. It's December 8th, 2020. And because it's a Tuesday, that means it's Trivia Tuesday. And today's Trivia Tuesdays is going to be a Star Wars edition. I've tried to craft these questions in such a way that even if you aren't very familiar with everything that goes on in Star Wars, you can at least guess your way to at least some entertaining, if not correct, answers. And I tried to make them running related in certain respects, or as much as I could. There's not a lot of running that happens in Star Wars, but I've tried to tease out some potentially running related facts. So that's what's on deck for today. But it is a Run Club live stream as well. So those of you who are new and here for the first time, if you have any running questions at all, always feel free to drop them into the live chat. And I usually get to those as I'm waiting for answers to come into the trivia questions. So that's what's going to go on today. First, I want to say hi to everybody listening on the podcast version of this, kind of after the fact. Welcome, everybody. And hopefully you're having a good run. And same for everyone watching this on YouTube after the fact. Hopefully you're having a good foam rolling session, stretching out, or just vegging on the couch, whatever the case may be. So with that out of the way, or that being said, I don't want to say out of the way. I want to say that being said, let's say hi to everyone who's here. All right. Philip Bourne coming in with, the type of comment that we get frequently around here. Says, anyone had to deal with flatulences / other mild GI issues from Science and Sport gels? Had that now on both of my last runs. Thankfully, it's only that and not worse. No cornfields around, so only forest. Well, at least you got forest. That's always, something that can be workable. But I think I've had not like gassiness from it before, but never any GI distress. So I'm not sure. I've always thought that the Science and Sport gels are the ones that are most likely to work for the most, types of people. So that's usually one that I recommend if someone's not tried one before, or if they have GI issues typically. But I know that there's some people that can't take those, but take other gels just fine. It just kind of depends on what's going on with your gut and your GI system. So hopefully today it was only it's both of your last runs. So seems like a pattern, but maybe it'll correct itself. But otherwise, I'd say, depending on how close of a situation you encounter today, maybe you put those aside, give them to someone else, or maybe trade some gels with someone. That might be something to do. All right. And it said, hi, Kofuzi and everybody. I finished Let Your Mind Run by Gina Castor today on audiobook. I would recommend it. That was a good book. I did really like that one a lot. A lot of great running quotes in that, I feel like. Yeah. And Corey Allen says, Inez Dunbar says, I will check Dina's book out after your review, especially since I've been a bit down lately. Should help in addition to Feeling Good book. Interesting. I'm not familiar with Feeling Good. Louis Becerra says, yo, what's going on? Awesome. Good to see you again, Louis. And Scotty B says, the Science and Sport is his current fuel. No issues. Did have a situation where I had a separate protein bar about 3 miles ago from a long run. Interesting. And No Twist One says, love the cis gels. Not too sweet and go down very easily. Sometimes I'm like, I wish I could have the Science and Sport in a format that wasn't so goopy. It's so like when I open it, I just feel like I have a 50-50 chance of it opening and just like kind of like going everywhere, like exploding a little bit. So that's so I get that with the Unived gels too sometimes, where I'm like, is this going to end up all over me, or am I going to get to eat it? Sometimes I have that problem with the ones that are not as viscous. But otherwise, I do like those. Runner Dre says, hey, everyone. What's going on, Runner? Dre? Simon N is here. Patrick Fong, Trivia Tuesday. How many points do you think is on the line? There's no points. There's no prizes. Not today. I think I'm going to work on that, but not for today. Not yet. Jana says, hi, everyone. Today was something I call my free 5K. To explain, it's just a 5K, same route every week, where I don't care about the pace or effort. It usually turns into a tempo run, though. Well, that's fun. I mean, I think that's nice when you kind of just like let the run dictate what it wants to be. I always think that's nice. Yeah, that's a good feeling. Awesome. All right. Frank says, I'm in a meeting, so I'm not hearing anything. Mace Windu has a purple lightsaber. I was going to think about do we go to colors? Should we go with colors? I'm not sure. But I didn't do any colors. T. Davis says, before I go, did you see the Adazero Pro 2 posted on is it Photo of the Gram or Proto of the Gram? I think it's Proto of the Gram, right? IG account. They look pretty good, but is it too soon? It is. I don't understand what most people haven't even gotten. I mean, everyone's gotten the Adazero Pro who's wanted one because they've had tons of stock. They're discounting those. They're like trying to get rid of them. Again, I don't understand, but they now they're making another Adazero Pro. But I mean, I guess maybe it's like it wasn't that successful of a shoe. I feel like, at least commercially, and so maybe they're like, let's get another one out there because we need like another lower stack height shoe. I don't know. That's really confusing. But I don't know, when is the release date. I know Adidas does a lot of like winter releases. I don't know if they're targeting South American markets, like Southern Hemisphere markets, or what the reasoning is. But a lot of times they will release a lot of stuff like November, December. I don't know if they do any January releases, but it's always like there's a lot of like winter releases. Rainwater says, I think he has a purple lightsaber because Samuel L. Jackson loves purple. Is that true? I didn't know that. Lucas says, Heiko Fuzi, did you ever think about write a book about running? I think you will do it great. I mean, I kind of do, but here's the thing. What's that book that I read? It's it's not called Trial of Miles, but it's when they call it where that phrase comes from, like that book, like a running fiction book. Just, it seems, I don't know, like, it didn't really appeal to me, like the concept of like a fictional running. I'm like, there's so many great real running stories. To have like a fictional running story seems strange, I think I wouldn't mind like reading a historical fiction kind of running story. I think that would be interesting too. But even then, I'm like, why wouldn't I just want like to read like a true account that has good writing to it? But I've thought about, I've written a book before. It was terrible. It was fiction. This was when I was in my 20s, a long time ago. So like I'm familiar with like, what it takes, and it takes a lot, and I don't have that kind of time. But I don't know that I'd want to write a book about running, because it's like, does it become like a training? I mean, like, because like Murakami's book kind of like does everything that I would ever want to achieve and does it better than I could ever do it. So I'm like, all right, well, that's done. What's left? I don't know. I'm not going to write a training manual like Matt Fitzgerald or like Triathlon Terran, because I don't have the experience that they do or the knowledge that they do. So like, what's left? I don't know. But if something ever like kind of like speaks to me, then I'm open to the idea. I would rather narrate running books that exist. That's like my kind of like, I'm putting it out there, like into the universe. Like that's where I want to go. I would love to be able to do that. I don't know how to get there though. Yeah. So, well, we'll see. All right, let's get to the first question real quick. Before that, Christian says, Kofuzi, you already have the basic plotline in place. Survival movie where Asian American is hunted by locals and uses elite running skills with a Z to escape and evade. Lots of cornfields and weird food. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's like I'm doing like a 2020 version of Murakami, though, right? So even then, it's still a derivative of like Murakami's like what I talk about running. But like, I don't know. I like where you're going with that, Chris, though. There's some potential there. Ed Chances, a children's book about running would be cool from the perspective of a dad. There we go. All right. Stevie76 has got his hand on the buzzer. Let's get to some of these questions. All right. Okay. So this one, I tried to make it about running. So we'll see, how it goes. I've never done a Star Wars themed trivia before. So I've never really enjoyed Star Wars trivia because it's either way too hard or way too easy. So we'll see how this one goes. All right. Question number 1. In Empire Strikes Back, Luke travels to the Dagobah system to train with Master Yoda. There, Luke has to do some, I'll call it trail running. He's like running through the swamps. And while he's there doing that running, he has to carry something on his back. What was he carrying? I have a feeling you guys will know this one. because you guys are always so good. Shannon says, "Don't do Star Wars trivia, please." Sorry. Yeah. Oh man, everyone knew this one right away. Sorry. Yeah. Alex said Yoda. Kurt Siege, I think, got attacked by autocorrect. But yeah, Jeff got it. Frank. Man, everyone knows that. Trains with Coda had Yoda. Yeah. Yeah, it's so funny. Man, that was way too easy. Sorry about that. But I just was like, that's the only running thing that I could even think of. Stevie 76 though says his wife. And Brett Reed says a hydration bladder. Raynor says a backpack with Yoda in it. Here's the question: is it a backpack with Yoda in it, or is Yoda just holding on to him? I think Yoda's just like holding on to the back, right? That's what I thought. One of the things that I was going to do this year for May the 4th was I told you guys about that. I was going to buy a full size like Chewbacca costume, and I had a backpack. It's a novelty item. It's a backpack that looks like Yoda is clinging to your back, and I was going to run down like the Chicago Riverwalk and down like Magnificent Mile, Michigan Avenue, running with that. And I thought that would have been fun. And I was debating, like, should I run with a lightsaber too? Because then if I run with the 360 camera in one hand and then the lightsaber in the other, it'll just look like I'm running with a lightsaber, you know? So I was like, that would be kind of funny. Because you wouldn't, my other hand, the stick would disappear. So you would just see the one. Or I was thinking, well, maybe I should put something glowing on the selfie stick somehow. I don't know. That's what I was wanting to do. But, man, you guys got it. Thomas Reinhardt said, just watched that movie a few days ago. Yeah. All right. Wow, you guys are so fast. Trains with Coda said, watch your Stormtrooper runs the other day. It was fun. That was fun. I enjoyed that costume. I ran in that thing like 3-4 times, and it's like the costume itself, like the body part of it is fine, but the helmet, it was like crinkly plastic, and it cracked pretty quick. All right. And Rainer says, to be specific, it was old man Yoda as opposed to baby Yoda. That's true. All right. And Martha says, I'm here to try to deliver funny wrong answers. Yeah. I see. I think everyone can participate if they want. No one has to participate. All right. Here's one that I think everyone's going to have to guess. And I'm not sure that, it was actually said in the movie, the answer to this, but, according to like, there's a couple of like reliable Star Wars, like kind of like trivia and backstory type of websites. This is where I get this one from. So, while taking refuge on the ice planet Hoth, the Rebel Alliance rode domesticated tauntauns as transportation. Those were those things. They look kind of like furry, like velociraptors. They rode on them, and they had like ram's horns on the coming out of the top. So kind of goofy things that smelled real bad. How fast can a tauntaun run? Any guesses to that one? Ryan Pauly says 1 parsec. That's funny. Awesome. Kurt Siege says Baby Yoda has a name now as well beyond the child, Grogu. I didn't know that. Bert says I had Yoda's voice on my TomTom navigator on Windows Mobile 6 back in the days. Oh, that's fun. That's so fun. Trains with Coda says 34 furlongs per minute. I'm not sure. My answers, I have it in kilometers per hour and miles per hour. But I also, so we might have to do that conversion, Trains with Coda, for 34 furlongs per minute, because I'm not sure how long a furlong is. But Brett Reed said 235 watts. I love it. Rayrunners coming in with 12 miles per hour. That's a little bit on the low side, according to the source that I've had. Let's see. Martha says the speed of light. Not quite that fast, but they are quick animals. Christian says in miles per hour or light speed. We can do a conversion, but the answer I have is in kilometers per hour or miles per hour. Let's see. Frank says faster than Kipchoge, but slower than Cheptegei. I think it's faster than both of them. But yeah, Paul the Thing One says warp factor 9. Awesome. All right. I think it's fast. It's going to be faster than 6:53 a minute. And Chris Dyke coming in with the 1492. Awesome. Thomas Reiner said they could probably run a 4-minute mile. And No Twist One says faster than my math pace. Yes, for sure. The answer that I have is that a tauntaun can run at 90 kilometers per hour, or about 55 miles per hour. So Blas Grabner had it. Cheetah speed. Oh, Bryce Blankenfield also had it as well. 55 miles per hour. Awesome. And but Brett Stevens asked the question that makes a big difference: with Vaporflies or out of Zero Pros or without. That's very funny. Yeah, Martha says the same thing. Depends on what, or said it earlier. I'm clicking up. Sorry about that. Depends on what shoes it's wearing. Very funny. Red Reed says, yeah, so, 235 watts. Funny. Very, very funny. Hilarious. Kurt C says 4:30 per mile because everyone ran the mile in 4:30 in high school. Anyone going to get this reference? That's from, who's that from? Who said that? I'm trying to think. Where did I hear that recently? Good one, though. All right. Let's go. Let's go to question number 3. We're probably going to end up going through these really quickly today, but that's okay. All right. Question 3. This one's kind of running related. All right. When negotiations with the Trade Federation failed, Obi-Wan Kenobi and Qui-Gon Jinn escaped the droidekas sent to destroy them, using what ability? Do you guys know what that was called when they used to escape? By the way, there's a part of me that really loves Star Wars from the governmental theory kind of perspective, where they're talking about I'm always very intrigued about their Senate. I'm like, how many representatives does each planet have? And what if it's a system? Does a system get more, or is it just like a archipelago where there's just one representative, say from if it were Philippines, for example? Yeah. Jason Dahl says force push. That's close, but that's not quite it. Chris, Ben Y. Glute activation. Nice, coming in at the same time with that. And Martin says executive privilege. They pardoned themselves from the discussion. Here we go. And Shannon says running. They did use running. They ran away. That's how they escaped. So that is technically very correct. Let's see, who else do we have here? Alex Chuparin also said force push. A force push is when you do the whoosh thing, right? And you push someone away. That's what force push is, right? Revs 91, I think, has it. But I think that Brett Reed's steeplechasing is pretty good. Ryan Pauly says mind bullets. There's never any mind bullets in Star Wars, is there? I don't think so. Nothing ever like that. New Venture says they use parkour. That'd be funny if there was oh goodness sake. Do you think there'll ever be a Star Wars reboot? I wouldn't mind a reboot of Phantom Menace. That actually wouldn't be a bad idea. A second try at that, I wouldn't be mad about, because I would not mind just deleting that movie. But can you if they rebooted it in 2020 or 2021, that scene would definitely have parkour in it, right? Wouldn't it? All right, let's get to the right answer that I think Rev91 had. He said force run. I feel like the official name for it is force speed, but it's also being known as burst run or force run. So that I'll definitely accept force run as the answer. It's basically, it was kind of lame when you saw it, because it's something that people were aware that it existed, but it was just when you the effect made it look like, when the flash runs across the screen, in TV, it just looked like that. And they just both split like this. And I was just that was kind of weird. And that was we're 5 minutes into this movie and already I'm complaining. That was a bad day. All right. Pablo Lopez says, could you please do a video of the process to recover from runner's knee, all the exercises of stretching you use to mitigate the pain? Thank you in advance. Yes, that's coming. It'll probably, now that I feel like I'm 100%, I'm feeling really good. And so I feel like I've kind of put, 99.9%. There's still parts of me that are is my knee still not great? Either way, I'm feeling good enough to take on more. I ran 70 miles last week. I had some marathon miles pace miles in it. So feeling good. And I wanted to make sure I was like really past it before I made the video. So I'll put it together, the variety of things that I used. It'll be an over like inclusive list because I don't know exactly what worked, but I used like a variety of things, and over time it kind of whittled down to like 4 or 5 things. So I'll definitely do that. Yeah, Rayner says they should redo all those prequels. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't. I did like 2 and 3. I didn't think were terrible. Just 1 was like Jar Jar. Like, let's just do it without Jar Jar Binks. Let's just get rid of that. Let's rethink that part. Yeah, I don't know. Ben Boy said it's actually called the endorphin force speed. It's funny, very funny. And Shannon said, not a terribly bad idea. Cross between Air Force Ones and Star Wars shoes. Nice. Yeah. Oh, and Martha does say, Pablo, Bob and Brad, the internet physical therapists, probably also have a lot of content for that. They do. And that's anything that I tell you is going to kind of come from there. With the only like added thing, the thing that I mainly add is like of their like hours of content they've made. Like here's like the 20 minutes of stuff that like I use, and I think lots of different people's runners needs. I think it's such a broad term, and there's a lot that's possibly there. I think that what I do might not work for everyone, but if you have symptoms similar to mine, then I'll probably get to that. So like maybe it'll work. Chris M said, wasn't there a crowdsourced effort to edit Jar Jar out, or did that never happen? I thought that there was. There was lots of talk about that. Yeah. Patrick Fung says, Adidas do have a line of Star Wars shoes. Yes, yeah, they do. They've been making like a variety of stuff over the years. I have the Death Star, the 4D, like the Alpha Edge 4D Death Star version. It glows in the dark, but it's that like 4D printed shoe or 3D printed shoe. It's great to have as a piece of Star Wars memorabilia in a sense, as a collectible, but it's not a great running shoe. Whitney Wilson's here, says, yeah, I get to join today live. Awesome. Well, Whitney, glad to have you. Andrew Kish says, what's your favorite distance and pace to run? I like threshold speed. That's kind of my favorite, I think. Marathon pace, I always find requires a lot of discipline. I can run it for longer, but it's harder to take. It's just, you're holding back a lot, I think. And so I like threshold. And I don't run threshold pace for 13 miles, but I like to kind of like have threshold work within like a 10 to 13 mile run. That's kind of like really nice. It's under 2 hours of work or like for the run, and you just feel really like you worked hard, and it just feels really good. Alex Choparena said, Topher Grace famously did an edit of the prequels that basically took all the Jar Jar parts out. I'm going to have to look for that. Kurt says, Adidas has Star Wars, but Mike only wants the Vader ones. Yeah, I like the dark side. I'm a big fan of the dark side. There was that one video that used to come out that was like that was all over, like it went viral for a while, and it was when there was like this like interactive like show at I think Hollywood Studios, the Disney World one, where they before like Galaxy's Edge came out, and they had like a thing where like they would get a kid from the audience, and Darth Vader would be like, you will be my apprentice, bow down to me, and the kid was supposed to like fight Darth Vader, like that's how it always was. And then like this one girl who was like really like quite adept at using her like stick, her like toy lightsaber, like totally like bowed down and was ready to be an apprentice, and everyone thought I was like super cool because she was like, obviously she had some sort of martial arts training, and she was like an 8-year-old. It was pretty funny, but I'm like, I want to be that girl. That's awesome. New Betcher says there's a Star Wars NMD and I think EB20. Yeah, there are, and I think there's maybe one of the solar boost, solar guide, solar something, that solar drive, maybe there's one. I'm not sure. but definitely NMDs. The R2D2 NMDs I think are nice. I was very close to getting those, but those are they're a little bit fun. I'm like, but I want more Star Wars in them. I just feel like sometimes it's a little like too muted. All right, let's see what else we got here. Shannon says, I'm over 3. No knowledge of any movie trivia. Oh, Motivation Theory Running's here. What's going on, man? Good to see you. How you doing? All right, let's get to question number 4 for today. All right, because this one I think anyone could pretty much guess this. You don't have to know anything about Star Wars to be able to get this one right. All right, question number 4. So Han Solo claimed the Millennium Falcon could make the Kessel Run in 12 parsecs. The Run Disney Kessel Run is like a multi-event kind of thing that actually exists. It's a virtual half marathon and the Star Wars Rival Run, which is a half marathon at the Disney Resort. So you have to do both of those to complete the Kessel Run, or the Run Disney Kessel Run. What was the gun time of the winner of the Star Wars Rival Run, like the in-person part of it? What was the gun time of the winner of that event at Disney World in 2019? I mean, unless you're like an avid fan of the results of like the Run Disney half marathons, there's no way you would know this. But you can make a guess on like how fast do you think the winners are who are going to Disney World to race a half marathon? Yeah, Motivation Theory Running says, I think running around Disney would be so fun. Yeah, I really want to do it because my kids are the right age to take to Disney World. They love it. And I felt like before, like I wanted to do the Dopey Challenge, which is like there's a marathon that weekend and like a half marathon. So you do like a marathon, a half marathon, and a 10K. You do something crazy in one weekend, and I wanted to do that. But it's in like January, and I was like, that's such a hard time because you just had Christmas break, and then New Year's. I usually go to see my side of the family on the East Coast, so it's like a hard time to like leave, and I'm not usually in the best of shape in January. But now I'm just like, if I want to take the kids out of school to go travel somewhere when I'm able to travel again, we're going to go. So I think we're going to do it. Rain Runner said, in the 2019 Star Wars Rival Run half marathon, Jar Jar Binks won it in 1:28. Funny. All right. And Brian Wan said, hey, Kofuzi, finally able to catch a live stream from Taipei. It's 5:25 a.m. right? Ooh, early. Been grounded at home because of runner's knee. Any tips on how to heal this thing? Oh, so for me, I mean, I'll be making a video. Someone else mentioned it earlier. I'll be making like a kind of a full video of like what I did, not how you can cure it yourself necessarily, because I don't know how you can cure it. I'm not a medical professional, but I can tell you the things that worked for me. And I did a lot of mobility exercises, and that took kind of like weeks to work on, as well as doing a lot of massage of the tendons. The patellar tendons, both like above the knee and below the knee, and then a little bit to the side, just massaging a lot of the area using the massage gun a little bit. So I'll get into that, but to kind of like highlight that's a big part of it. But also just working a lot on mobility, like just kind of throughout the day. Like every once in a while, if I had a minute, like, oh, well, maybe trying doing some deep squats, what I would call, I don't know if you're familiar with it in Taipei. In Korea, we call it dong position, like the kind of position that you would sit in if you're going to poop in a hole in the ground, like in an outhouse. Like that, I would just sit like that, or try to sit like that for a while. And I feel like that opened up my hips, which I think was also kind of like part of what was bothering me. All right, so we got a whole bunch of times here. Keeping in mind that yesterday we saw that the World Half Marathon record got shattered by 4 people at the Valencia Half Marathon. Or was it 2 days ago? At 59 something, right? So Jeff Elliott says 105. Ryan Pauly says 112. Frank's coming in at 106. No, that's a little bit too fast all those times. Patrick Funk says 123. That's a little slow. So it's in between those. Let's do a couple more. Chris Dyke coming in at 13 parsecs. Nice. Ronald Dre says 107. Mark says, who's going to know that? No, I don't expect it. I didn't even say no, unless you're like, oh, I know him. He ran it and he won. My friend ran it. And when you go look at the website, that's his picture breaking the tape. That's what I thought maybe someone would know him. Martha's coming in at 107.31. Not bad. P Funk says 159.40. No, it's actually gets pretty competitive. Yeah. And Ryan Paul says, you haven't mentioned glute activation. That's right. A big part of it, I mentioned my hips, but a big part of, I think, what helped was the glute activation for my runner's knee. That also was a big part of it too. Let's see. Where are we? Okay. Brian Rowan said, yes, the Asian squat. That's it. You know it. Do that a lot. I think I did that a lot. I did it before my run a lot. And it was amazing how creaky my knee was. It still kind of is creaky until I warm up like that. So I've been doing a lot of deep squats, but yeah. Rodan Marie says, hi all. What's going on? Good to see you. All right. Let's see. Jeff Elliott's at 121, Ben Y 118. Martha's 116.01 is very, very close. The answer is in 2019, Dixon Falcao, I don't know if it's Falcao or Falcao, he's from Brazil, finished and won the Run Disney Star Wars Rival Run in 1:15:25. So like that's pretty fast, I feel like. And I feel like 2 and 3 were within like a minute or two. So like 3 people came in under like 1:18 to be able to win the Star Wars Rival Run half marathon. I mean, that's no joke. The 5K split on that, it's like 17:40. So it's smart. I mean, not smart. It's fast. Really fast. Yeah, Andre said, are we still guessing? Sorry, sometimes I kind of get off on a tangent. And Raynor says, way faster than I would have thought to be. Yeah, I would have liked, I was thinking it was going to be somewhere like in the like low 120s, maybe 119, 118. But to get to like 115 is like, I think that's like, it's getting pretty quick. And Martha says, though, I guess it's a flat course. Yeah, it definitely, I think it would be. When I went to the Disney cruise, my family, we stayed at the Disney resort and went to Disney World for one day before we went on the cruise. And I think like there's an area that I ran around there that I think is where like part of the half marathon and marathon courses. So like there, it's like artificially like rolling because they made bridges and stuff like that, but it's a pretty flat area. Stephen Gersdorf coming in and clarifying. Parsecs is not a speed; it's an area over distance of space. Yeah. So when the Millennium Falcon went 12 parsecs, it's because they were able to like more precariously navigate closer and use black holes and stuff like that to get through not only faster but at a lower distance as well. So it ended up being faster. But I think the marvel of saying it's 12 parsecs is that it means that your navigation skills are really good, or your nav computer. But they talk about it like it's like it's a speed. But yeah, Stephen is right as far as I know. Not that I would have really dug that deep into it personally. I did dig that deep into it. All right. Carrie Smith says Star Wars chat. Yeah. All right. Daniel Adams said, parsecs is not a speed, it's a state of mind, and attributes that quote to Bill Bowerman. Oh, that's hilarious. Awesome. Phil Artman says, I never got into Star Wars, but neither of my parents liked it. I think that plays a big part in growing the younger fan base. Yeah. And, my parents weren't that into it either, but I grew up, I think, kind of in between times. So like I was in high school when they like remastered 4, 5, and 6 and released them. Was it on DVD for the first time? I graduated from high school in 97. So like that's, I was already out of high school before the prequels came out. So like, that's kind of like where I'm at in them. So I was like a little too young to really remember A New Hope, but the other ones, I don't think I saw them in movie theaters. I think I saw them all on VHS first, but I definitely saw them as a young kid. But my parents really weren't that into it, but I just thought it was awesome because I felt like I was like, oh, this is like sci-fi fantasy, but like it's like no one makes fun of you for liking it, like they make fun of you for liking other sci-fi fantasy. So I'm like, it's okay to like this. I like it. Yeah. Yeah, Rain Runner says, I got into Star Wars when I watched in theaters in 97 re-release when I was a kid. Yeah. Yeah, so that's when I was like in high school. And I was like, oh, yeah, I remember these. These are great. And there was like a Super Nintendo game that came out. I think it was on Super Nintendo. I played a ton of that. I lost a lot of time in high school to that game. Yeah. Martha says, I think I was too old, quote unquote, to watch Star Wars while having kids with whom to watch it, and lost lots of other things like Harry Potter, which I also missed. Yeah, I think I was too old to read Harry Potter, and also then too old to like enjoy the movies. But I'm enjoying them now with my daughter, which has been a lot of fun. Bert says the local network of the university was bogged down in 1998 when students uploading and downloading the legal rip of the Phantom Menace. Oh man, that's funny. That's so funny. Jeff Elliott says, I remember watching The Black Hole, Disney's answer to Star Wars, and it was terrifying. I'm gonna have to check that out. Dee Dee said, did I miss Star Wars Trivia Day? I just hear work from home conference call. Yeah, well, I mean, we got a couple more questions left. We're nearing the end. Yeah. Frank said, I saw the original Star Wars in theater at age 2. Here's another. Well, I'll give you this as bonus. I'll give you some bonus trivia at the end. Speaking of Star Wars, but let's get to the questions though first. Question number 5. We'll go to question 5. We're gonna go back to the Dagobah system for question 5. So back there, so this is an Empire Strikes Back. Luke Skywalker was eating a nutrition bar before he met Yoda, because he went there to go find this Master Yoda, and he was there, and he was kind of like camped out, and he was eating like a granola bar when Yoda appears and he meets Yoda, and Yoda complains about Luke's food. What does Yoda feed Luke instead of the food that Luke had brought? Do you guys remember what that was? Martha, honey stinger off. Man, Patrick Fong said was it ginger flavored? I bet you it probably had ginger flavor in it. I ate the rest of that ginger bar this morning, and I was like, oh, I like washed it down heavily with lots of coffee, and I also had the rest of the berry one, which was good. I think together, I kind of like alternated bites, and together it was not bad. I feel like they should just combine those two flavors. But yeah, man, you guys. Hey, Danny J says, hey, y'all, just stopping in to wish the co-family well. Peace. Oh, thanks so much, Danny. Patrick Funk says, I like the movie Spaceball better. I love Spaceballs. I absolutely love Spaceballs. And we've mentioned this on the live stream many times. I thought that there was supposed to be a sequel. I thought it even had a title, Spaceballs 3, The Search for 2. But I don't know where it ever went. And then they had prequels. And I was like, this is the perfect time to have that Spaceballs prequel. I'm guessing it just never worked out money-wise. Like, you just couldn't figure out a way to make it happen. To like whatever licensing they had to do or royalties they would have had to pay to LucasArts or Lucasfilms, I guess. I'm guessing that it just got caught up in money, because that would have been hilarious. And then we've had like the third trilogy now too, another perfect time to kind of like do it. But I don't know. Maybe like, I mean, are we past just like movie parodies at this point? Or I don't know. I don't know what's funny in a movie anymore. I'm not really even sure. I guess I just don't watch that many movies anymore. But all right, let's get to the right answer. Tyler Eads, right answer right away. Soup. It was soup, but it was specifically a root leaf stew. I don't know if Yoda ever called it that, but it seems to be unanimous across the internet that some type of broth, a root leaf stew. Jeff Elliott says soup as well. Alex had it as well. Sarah Frog. Frog seems like the right answer, doesn't it? Or like those little animals with like the fur. They look like kind of like Muppets, like those things. I feel like that would have been it. They look like kind of like a rat mixed with a frog, those things. But the answer from the internet is root leaf stew, which apparently is a boiled mix of roots and swamp weeds. And Luke said that the smell reminded him of a garbage depot in the hot season on Tatooine. Tatooine being the desert planet where he was he and his uncle lived with his uncle and his aunt, they were moisture farmers. So I can imagine the hot season there was pretty gross. So that's the answer there. Oh yeah, Bert, I guess. I remember the movie History of the World Part 1 by the same director as Spaceball with Mel Brooks. That was hilarious. I haven't seen that in forever. Oh, that's one that I want to revisit. Jeff, I think Spaceball 2 was a joke in the movie and not something they really wanted to do. But think of the merchandising. Merchandising. Remember that? Daniel M said, oh, they didn't because John Candy died. Because they lost Barf? I went, yeah. I could see that. Running Addict says, hey, Michael, I have to say, I decided to spend 250 plus on the Nike Vaporfly Next Percent. I didn't like them at all. I felt like I was tripping my whole run. Maybe I'm just slow, lol. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that you spent that much money and didn't like them. Wow. What do you mean by you felt like you were tripping the whole run? Like you were too tall, like you were high up and it just wasn't comfortable there? And what else have you been racing in? If you like, just to give me a comparison point. That's interesting. And I'm sorry to hear that. Jeff Elliott says, we went to the new Star Wars thing in LA and the plant-based options for food were delicious. I have no doubt. I want to go there. I really want to go there. And I want to, I feel like they should have a thing called Root Stew. I hope they one of my friends, he went there shortly before like everything shut down. And they sell Coca-Colas in those little grenade things that that Luke had brought when he was trying to rescue Han Solo. Like those, like little, they look like grenades. Do you guys remember those? There was a thing saying like the TSA wasn't letting people go through with them because they looked like grenades somehow. Although I have one, it doesn't look anything like a grenade, but I have to. I'd be interested in like what food do they pick? Martha asking a very good question. Which was worse, the ginger bar or the M&M spaghetti? I'd say the M&M spaghetti was worse. But the ginger, it just surprises me every time when I eat something that has a strong ginger flavor. It always just like, oh, I forgot how much I don't like this flavor. It's not that it's repulsive, and it's actually a tasty bar if you like ginger. I can at least understand and like kind of like, I think that people that like ginger would like it. But like me, I don't like ginger, and I don't like it. Jen said, as far as the other things that you guys guessed, Burr says double espresso cis gel. Innocent deep crust deep dish pizza, funny. And then Jenna says a banana open from the other side. Awesome. You guys have the best answers. Awesome. Yeah. Jeff says everything that Baby Yoda does is adorable. Even eating as many of some frog lady's eggs as possible. Yeah, so do you think he became plant-based later on? Because he was eating like right. So he's not plant-based as a baby. I haven't watched a lot of the Mandalorian. I don't have not that I don't have time. I always feel like it's one of those things where it's like I really want to sit down and watch it, and I don't have time to like sit down and watch something. That's the thing. I have time to like put stuff on. So I'm listening to the news. I'm watching YouTube all the time. Stuff that I don't like really want to like listen to. Not don't want to listen to, but it's okay if I don't listen to. But yeah. Kim Corpus asks, do you drink Gatorade in the middle of your long runs? What do you consider a long run? 10K? A long run is going to be relative. And I would consider it by time more than I would by distance because everyone's paces are different. And it also changes with me depending on the intensity of the run and the temperature. So like in the summertime, I would probably bring a gel with me on a run that's going to be longer than like 6 or 7 miles, so about 10K or so. And I would bring something to drink if I'm going to be running maybe a little bit longer than that. I might not bring something for 7 miles, but for 10, I would definitely bring some liquid. I might not drink it all, but I want to have it there just in case maybe it's a lot more humid than I was expecting or I'm not feeling great. So I like to have it there. In the winter, I won't bring it for even up to like Gatorade up to a half marathon. I'm still fine, but I will bring a couple of gels that have a little bit more liquid to them. So like Goo, like the Goo brand GU or like Cliff Shots, like those are really gummy. They're very pasty. Like I'm not talking about those. I like Unived. I like Huma. I like Science and Sport. Those are like a lot, like they're very liquid-y, and those are, I think, are good to bring on like winter runs. But if it's like an easy run, like today I went for a 7.5 mile run, easy, I didn't bring anything. If I were doing a hard workout that was that same distance, I might bring a gel. So it kind of just depends on how hard you're working and temperature and a couple of different factors. But, you know, if it's shorter than, for example, 10K, I probably wouldn't bring anything. But if a 10K takes you like an hour, then I would consider it. That's like right at the border for me. So it's like, that's kind of like what would, you know, decide it for me. For me, that 7.5 miles takes me on an easy run. It takes me like an hour and 10 minutes. So that's where I'm always like, I could bring one. I cannot bring one. I'm on the fence. Just depends on the day. Oh, Shannon says, I thought I hated ginger. Wouldn't eat the sushi that touched it. I intentionally put it on a sushi a couple months ago, and now I'm obsessed. Bipolar taste buds. I mean, taste buds change over time. That's true. Lachlan Tubb says, have you ever had shin splints? I haven't had shin splints really, I think, since like high school, I think. Maybe in college I had them. Yeah, so I usually would experience shin splints when I'm transitioning from like an off season to an on season really quickly. That's usually when I start feeling the shin splints. All right, let's get to the bonus question real quick, and then I'll give you an additional, like a second bonus, like a Kofuzi trivia that's also Star Wars related. So, all right, here's the bonus question. Frequently, Star Wars characters are telling each other, usually as as a goodbye, may the Force be with you, right? But what is the proper Star Wars response when someone in Star Wars tells you, I love you? I think you guys will know this one. Stevie76, yes, this is a Showcase Showdown. Connor Atwood wants to know, would you prefer Alpha Fly or Vaporfly for a 5K? I think both would be great. If we're talking about the 4% versus the Alpha Fly next, I think if it were a tight course with lots of turns, I would lean towards the 4%. But if it's like flat, fast, really wide open, I can definitely do the Alpha Fly. Jeff Elliott says, and with you. Yeah, see, like that's what that's what the question was really originally going to be. And then I dug down deeper into it, and because I thought the answer was no one ever says anything. Like whenever people say, may the Force be with you, the other person usually just leaves. They never say anything back. They never say, and may the Force be with you. It's never like that. And I was like, but my inclination from going to church for years growing up is to say, and also with you. Right? Make up, peace of the Lord be with you, and also with you, right? It's just a reflex. But I thought no one ever says, and also with you. But apparently there's somewhere in Star Wars some spot where some Jedi said that to someone else as a response back. So I was like, I don't want to get too controversial with my Star Wars trivia. But so that's why I was like, well, what do you say if someone says I love you? And everybody got this one right. The right answer is Lawrence, thank you. That's the Wayne's World answer to that. Whitney Wilson says, I have a bad feeling about this. But let's see, who had it first? Yeah, everyone had. Well, a lot of you had the right answer, but the first one was Kurt. Kurt said the right answer is I know. So that's what happens when Han Solo is getting lowered into the carbonite. Leia says to him, I love you. And he looks back and he's just like, yeah, I know. And that was the response. So super cool. Super cool. Yeah, Jason had it. DD had it. Mark, Revs 91. Man, you guys had it. You guys, Jeff, Aaron, man. Yeah, Daniel, I wanted to say, and also with you. No. Alex Chopin, I know. Because yeah, says, wow. Ryan Paul, I know you do, but what am I? Awesome. All right, so let me give you my let's see, my let me take this off here. My Star Wars trivia. So my wife, in her infinite patience with me and her ability to humor me, allowed for at our wedding, like there's the music that you like walk up to, right? A lot of people, do everything from the very traditional, like the "Here Comes the Bride" song. We didn't do that. We kind of like picked different songs. To this day, I don't remember what they are. I mean, in my defense, I don't know why I'm looking at my watch. In my defense, we were married 13 years ago, so I don't remember what those songs are. But I do remember the song that we left to. So, like after the ceremonies, you kiss the bride and then everyone walks off. There's like usually triumphant music. She let me pick the end music from A New Hope when they're in the palace and they're all getting at the medal ceremony. So she let me pick not the Imperial March, the other one, the other really cool one, where the other one where they're leaving, they got their medals. C-3PO's like all buffed out. He's like super gold and sparkly. R2-D2 is nice and clean. Chewie's there, Han, Luke, Leia. Leia gives them the medals and they're all there and they're just standing there. Like that's the music. Throne Room, Tripurna. Alex, you got it. The Throne Room. So she let us do that. So that was pretty nice. And here's the thing. And for most of our guests, they didn't realize what they were listening to. Because in the beginning, it's like a trumpet voluntary. It's like a trumpet, like kind of solo or like introduction to it. And so like by the time we were already through all the guests, then it started, oh, this is Star Wars. So then everyone was kind of like giggling about it at the end. So I thought that was pretty fun. And Jeff said that's very cute and sweet. She's always been very, very patient with me. Shannon says, do you go to Star Wars conventions? No, I've never been to one. I would love to. I think I should. I think if my kids can get into it a little bit more, then I would have like the right like excuse to do it. But otherwise, I don't know that my wife would really be cool with that. And Martha very correctly says, "Here Comes the Bride" is the Mendelssohn Wedding March, to be precise. Yes. I always forget it. I only remember it as "Here Comes the Bride," but I'll try to remember that. Let's see, we got a couple more comments here. Raynor says John Williams Dodgeville. He's probably my favorite composer. He's done so much good stuff. I mean, it's all like, I don't know, maybe it like takes like kind of like the shine off of him because he's done it all for like movies, but I just feel like really great songs. I just like it. Oh, Scott says I got married on Star Wars Day. Nice. We did not get married. We got married in the right month, but not on the 4th. James with Cody says my kids 7 and 6 want nothing to do with Star Wars. Here's Martha's just giving me a hard time. I appreciate that. My kids though, not in their defense, but like my kids are so sweet that like they don't like Star Wars, but they know that I like it. So like they get excited when I'm like, because every once in a while I'll like take another like jab at it and be like, hey, do you guys want to watch this Star Wars Lego holiday special? And they're like, oh, it's Star Wars, let's watch it, Dad. And then like 2 minutes later they're like off and playing because they don't like it, and I'm just sitting there watching the whole thing and I'm thinking it's great. But yeah, so I think I appreciate that they're trying, but if they don't like it, end up liking it, that's totally cool too. Raynor says I also like Ludwig Göransson, who's done the music for Mandalorian. Ooh, I'll have to look into that. Corey Allen said my friend built a true to scale R2-D2 fully functioning robot and tours MLB baseball parks with Star Wars bot builders. They're incredible. That sounds fun. I mean, that's like way more into it than I am, but that sounds kind of fun. I like that. Kurt says, my older daughter, she turns 19 on Saturday. Well, happy birthday to her. Is totally into Star Wars now. Really cool. Really cool. Aaron Montgomery says, the original Star Wars holiday special is so bad. I will have to check into that. I don't think that I've seen that. Jeff says, was the Lego holiday Star Wars thing good? It was okay. It has that Lego the Lego cartoon. They're not cartoons, but they're not exactly the same as like the Lego movies, but that Lego franchise animation kind of style, where like a little bit of the irreverence and like the self-deprecating part to it. It's there, but it's still a holiday special, and it's definitely meant for kids. Liz Becerra says Comic-Con here in San Diego is insane. A lot of people dress up a lot. Yeah, I've never been to a Comic-Con. So, yeah. Flashing Flag says Star Trek trivia next week. Do they run much in these movies? I don't think I could do a Star Trek trivia. I just don't. I'm not familiar enough with it. Yeah, that's it. So I don't know that I could do that. I do like the new ones that they've put out. I really enjoy those. And I did like Next Generation. I watched that quite a bit because it was at a time where like I didn't have much cable TV or whatever, and it was on a lot. And so like it was at that time in my life. So that's like Next Generation is something that I'm a little bit more familiar with. All right. I think next week for trivia, we're going to get back to like something a little bit more like running related. We talked about it, I think yesterday. Next week's trivia, I'm going to cut and paste the copy of the ad copy of how they name or describe shoes, but take out any of like the word like boost or the word like, power run from it and see if you guys can guess what shoe it is. So that'll be next week's Trivia Tuesday. So I think that'll be fun. But thanks everyone today for hanging out and doing Star Wars trivia. I had a fun time with it. I know I had to kind of stretch to make it running related, but I did the best I could. But either way, I had a good time. Hope you guys had a good time too. Tomorrow's video is going to be about other YouTubers, so be on the lookout for that one. So that one should be fun, and then in a good way. Now I'm not like talking trash about other YouTubers. It's fun, I hope it'll be fun. And then we'll do another live stream. I've got some packages I got to open, so we'll do mail time tomorrow. In the meantime, be safe, everybody, and thanks for tuning in.